Okay, so it seems like I guess we got a little bit of an update on the Cinder situation, and well, it's been a little bit of a while because obviously a lot of the kind of stuff that I covered with Cinder was just a lot of hatred and stuff towards people like Shy Lily, but this time we're actually going to be going into pretty much, I kind of guess like exoneration, or not exoneration, but like I guess like a follow-up to some of the kind of accusations that have been put against Cinder, as it seems like they are kind of being refuted now. Now, obviously, I came across this post and I kind of wanted to share it with you guys because I thought it was very interesting. It's actually coming from an official source. Now, obviously, a lot of the time whenever I do this kind of stuff, I obviously won't just do it from some random person, like on Twitter or on Reddit or something, that like makes something up about Cinder and says, yeah, use this as evidence. It's like, no. But this is actually coming from an official artist who has worked with Cinder. Now, essentially, I saw this post which had come out. I don't really know why they're tagging Numi there, but essentially they're saying, I find it hilarious how people still think Cinder copied Spite. Now, if you don't remember, obviously back a while ago, whenever all the Cinder stuff was going on, Spite was essentially accusing, you know, Cinder of stealing models, and, well, not models, but designs and things of models, and a whole lot of other stuff in a Google Doc. I covered it all in a video if you guys want to go see it, but essentially, you know, it seems like some of that is now being refuted. And obviously they're saying, yeah, I find it hilarious how people keep copying them. They also put up some dates. Now, I don't really get, you know, obviously, you know, they say they've been working with this person way back in 2020, but I think the main argument wasn't anything to do with her original design. The one that I think was more pretty damning was this design. I think this was the main one that people were angry about. I don't think people were saying that Cinder copied like her wolf or pyro pup or whatever you want to call it design, you know, the same, you know, vice versa or anything like that. I think it was this particular outfit that people were pretty mad at. Now, obviously, yeah, this is the screenshot that a lot of people have seen, and you can see this was back in July 20th, and then this came out on September 14th, and obviously Spite thought that maybe, you know, this had been copied, and, you know, they said, like, come on, Spite, these two outfits are not even the same type, which, again, I do think is a little bit of a cope. I do think they look very similar. Again, you got the ripped kind of shirt here, you got the kind of, you know, shorts, the same kind of shorts. I mean, I think it is very obvious that they are similar, but it, you know, two things can be similar but also not copied. And I think now that we have some confirmation, it seems like maybe it might be a little bit closer. And obviously people, you know, just talking about it. And then also we have a follow-up from Lithia. Now, Lithia is a artist who works with a lot of VTubers, and obviously, you know, I actually had a talk with them in DMs just to kind of find out and clarify what exactly they meant in this message. Now, obviously, they've worked with Cinder before, and they said, just clarifying that I did not cover up, do the cover-up outfit, only the bikini itself. So it actually seems like, you know, she made the bikini design, which I think is this one here, like really small on the kind of work here. I'm not really sure, though, obviously, but they say, I did not design the cover-up outfit. Now, I went into DMs, I asked her to clarify what she meant the cover-up outfit. I said, did you mean the vest and the shorts and things? And she went, yeah, I didn't do that, which obviously, you know, that makes sense. Now, she did do a lot of the accessories, you know, that was before, you know, so essentially you can tell like that this is a, you know, kind of outfit that is covering up like a more revealing outfit, which might not be so Twitch safe or whatever. So sometimes VTubers will have like a cover up kind of thing to kind of like, you know, avoid like guidelines, things like that. Now, obviously, you know, they've made this one to cover it up. But obviously a lot of these accessories that came with the original outfit that has been covered up obviously still stay, including a lot of the kind of wrist things, as you can see there. There's a wrist kind of like spiky wrist band, I don't know what you really want to call it, as well as some other stuff like the choker, the kind of headband there. And obviously a lot of people were pointing that towards some copying. Now, obviously, as we note here, this artist actually clarifies, you know, people saying, okay, I was hoping you clarify that. And said, no problem. Also want to clarify that Cinder did not mention Spite or use her as a reference in any way during our commission process. And some of the similarities in the outfit, including the spiky bracelet, the G-string, joker, and also the thigh straps, was my idea, not suggested by Cinder. So we know that the accessories now were not actually kind of inspired or were taken from Spite's design, which I think is a very important bit of clarification to kind of add on to a lot of the information that we've been having, because obviously we want to keep this, you know, fair enough for Cinder. I know a lot of people are very heavily against Cinder. I know a lot of people are very heavily for Cinder, and I know it can get a little bit heated in between the two, but I do think in terms of, you know, just trying to air out what exactly is correct and incorrect, this is official information coming from the artists that created the original skin, that they were the ones that created a lot of the accessories to do with this design. Now, they didn't though, which I think is where people are trying to kind of spin it in a different way. They didn't make the actual like clothes over the top themselves. Now that is probably the bit that I would say looks most similar, and you know, the design was most similar, but again, obviously a lot of people were more pressed about the accessories, so I can understand why a lot of people feel a little bit vindicated by that. But I think you know, obviously we don't know who exactly the artist was that did the one for Cinder, but we would have to ask them whether you know, obviously the next part of the cover up, you know, the actual outfit, or you know, the kind of clothing over the top, whether it's the same, or like whether she, you know, asked you know, to copy like a spite design or something like that. Again, we don't really know. Obviously the artist hasn't come up with that, so again, we don't really want to speculate behind any of that kind of stuff. But again, it doesn't really fully, I guess, exonerate a lot of this stuff that goes on, because again, we still have the artist to talk about the actual outfit themselves, but this wasn't created by this Lithia artist person. It was only the design underneath. Now, obviously, I think, you know, considering that, you know, nanoless was a big kind of, you know, artist for Cinder at the time, it is safe to assume that maybe it was nanoless that made it. But again, I don't know. You know, no one knows if she's the one that made it. And again, it would be quite nice if she was to come out with that information, but I don't think she will. Obviously, I think she just dropped that Google Doc and left. Well, not left, but you get what I mean. Just kind of dropped that Google Doc and forgot about it, which I think, you know, at least, you know, Cinder deserves some kind of follow-up and kind of clarification towards that, because again, obviously, I feel like it's not like the best, you know, to leave it kind of open-ended in that kind of way. Now, obviously, you know, people saying obviously Spite and Cinder's designs will be similar. They're both wolf girls from hell. They're both going to have fire and spikes, and that's a key part of their brand. The same way that Bao and Shiley both have blowholes in their kind of personality and brands. Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. And again, I think the whole Spite situation and the Spite kind of accusations, I guess, in regards to the entirety of the Cinder stuff, because again, let's remember there is so much other stuff that has happened you know, during this time period. I feel like, you know, this was one of the weaker arguments. I didn't really, you know, I could see it, I could see, you know, maybe that happening, but at the same time, I wasn't like completely dead set on like, you know, she's like completely copying her design. I think there's a little bit of a 50-50 on whether that actually happened. But again, obviously, someone else posted saying, well, Cinder's bikini model just confirmed Spite's allegations is truly false, which I don't think is true. All of it isn't false yet. All of it isn't false. Now, part of it is false, which I definitely do want to kind of bring attention to, obviously saying that the accessories and stuff like that surrounding it is not copied and it's been confirmed. But again, we still haven't had confirmation about the clothes themselves, which I think a lot of people are missing out the information on. They're saying, citing that the summaries in the outfits was her idea, not Cinder's, which again, not the full sorry, this is similarities in the outfits with her idea. No, it's not the outfit itself, it's the accessories and the outfit that is underneath, the kind of bikini side of it, not the cover-up itself. They say this proves that Spite's allegations of Cinder copying her is now false. Again, not completely false, but again, it's up to the artist, whoever made that cover-up, to kind of come out with that kind of stuff. But I just kind of wanted to add that clarification there, because as much as it is great that obviously, you know, some things have been cleared up for Cinder, it's not fully cleared up yet, and I do hope that she could get a reply, you know, based on this, because it would clear up a lot more stuff. Now, I also wanted to talk about another kind of thing with Cinder while I kind of throw it in here, because again, I thought it was very, very weird, and I just wanted to kind of talk about it real quick. I saw it from Akuma Miko, an account who essentially got followed by an account kind of pretending to be Cinder. Now, obviously, you know, I don't think they are trying to maliciously impersonate her, but at the same time, it is extremely weird. They're obviously, you know, saying, hi chat, sorry it's been so long. So obviously they are trying to pretend to be her. So I guess you could call that impersonation. I mean, you know, if you just take one look at the account, you can definitely tell it's not like an official account or anything like that. But obviously they're trying to, play this situation into some of their like weird ass fantasies or something like that. I don't get why, you know, people do this. We saw this a couple of weeks ago as well. Someone else also did this, trying to impersonate her, but again, obviously that is absolutely horrible and way too far. Obviously Akuma here saying, dude, what the hell. Yeah, again, you know, there's certain amounts, you know, you can criticize Cinder and stuff for a lot of the stuff in the past, but I do think you know, doing stuff like this is incredibly weird. It's incredibly messed up, and I don't think anybody should be doing anything along these lines, because again, it's just weird, you know. And I don't think this person even, like, maybe they want to cause a ton of drama in the community or something like that, maybe, but honestly, I just think this is just like some dude who just wants to goon. Which again is crazy that you'd even use Cinder as a vessel for that kind of stuff. And again, it's completely messed up. I mean, bro, like, why would you even do this in the first place? So again, just want to kind of give you guys, you know, attention to that. Obviously, if you guys want to go report the account, then you can, because obviously it's using a lot of Cinder's likeness to kind of, you know, spread this kind of stuff. I don't like it at all. It's so weird. But again, you know, that is essentially a whole update to this. I hope that this has come across as pretty, you know, transparent in what is going on, because again, you know, as I said, there's a lot of people on both sides who are very angry at either side, and I just kind of want to provide this little bit of a rebuttal on some of the stuff that has been kind of coming out recently from official artists. Now, obviously, you know, it has been quite a couple of months, you know, since we last heard any kind of official stuff, you know, from Sinder or anything like that. So again, this is the first kind of update, I guess, from an official source. I'm pretty sure there's a tweet somewhere of the artists themselves saying, I do have some extra kind of information that I could add to this, but I don't really know if I should. And now they've finally come out of it after a couple of months. So again, I also just wanted to add at the end of this video, just to talk a little bit about Spite. Obviously, you know, I think both sides of this argument have been kind of agreeing that Spite isn't in any wrong for all of this, and isn't in any wrong for what the artist had said. And, you know, obviously don't go send any hate over to her, because a lot of her document is, you know, still there. You know, there isn't, like, this is only like a really small part of, you know, the entire thing that she revealed over on her document, or at least accused Cinder of in her document. So obviously, you know, it's just a small part of it. So, you know, Spite isn't like one of these people that is trying to spread misinformation or something like that, because again, a lot of her concerns are very genuine. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to kind of add this at the end, because I know a lot of people do tend to have this kind of bandwagon kind of mentality where they'll just go and attack people that don't deserve it at all. And obviously Spite isn't one of these people that deserves it, because, you know, obviously there's a lot of kind of, you know, things to this situation, and there was plenty more that Spite was talking about other than this one thing in particular. But yeah, just wanted to add that bit in. It's great to see that clarification coming out, and hopefully we do get some more clarification towards Cinder in the future, if there is anything else that does need to be clarified or changed, or, you know, whatever, or like kind of, I guess, updated on. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off again. We've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.